This is TWiT.
Did iMore get its Twitter account back?
Nope, not yet. By the way, if anybody wants to help us out, please at Twitter support and tell them that iMore still has not had their Twitter account reinstated.
So
it's very frustrating.
when we were all hacked on Wednesday, I wasn't, but when 30 blue checks were tweeting out spammy messages about "I'll double your Bitcoin if you send me some," response from Twitter, ham-handed though it might be, did, I guess, work. They shut down all blue check accounts. They said, nope, that's it. You're frozen. They quickly unfroze most of them, except for some reason for the former Mobile Nation sites, iMore, Crackberry.
Well, anybody who changed their password was extra frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, we had our tech team. They were very forward-thinking in that they saw. As soon as they saw the Jeff Bezos tweet, they didn't even wait for more information.
Smart.
They immediately went in and they reset our password. So they did the right thing. They did what they're supposed to do. And
they did the wrong thing for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Because as it turns out, that was the best way to screw yourselves.
Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh.
So we're still trapped in the black hole limbo. But we're all, as a team, trying to tweet out each other's articles to get word of mouth out on Twitter about what's going on. So
I will be glad
best we could do.
If you just DM me whatever you want me to tweet. I'll be glad to tweet it on my account. Oh, wait a minute, no, because I made mine private. My response to the hack was to make mine private. By the way, none of that turns out would matter, because what really happened was this bad guy whose name is Kirk.
Yes.
And the only explanation I come up with is maybe he wants to say, I'm the captain now. But for some reason, this guy named Kirk, who had not been seen much before, was able to get the administrative console, the high-level administrative console that presumably a trusted Twitter employee only would have access to. The New York Times said it was because... I hope this isn't true.
Say it, Leo.
I hope
no,
this isn't
it is true. Say it. Say it.
They pinned the credentials for the admin console in their Slack channel.
And there it is.
A Slack channel that was open, that public could have access to, right?
No.
No, he hacked into it.
Oh, that's what he hacked into the Twitter.
Yeah. But Slack is easier to hack.
Of a Post-it note.
Yeah.
Right? It's like putting a Post-it note on your desk. It's like that's the digital equivalent of that.
It's like putting a Post-it note like in the bathroom that maybe the general public isn't supposed to get into, but people can get into.
That's the executive bathroom. That's safe. It was really a shocking, I think, dereliction of duty on Twitter's part. But now I'm even more upset because your people did the right thing.
I know. That's so frustrating.
Of course, now, I was slowed on the draw. Your people were too quick on the draw. You tweeted it, and then that was the last tweet.
Yeah, that was the last tweet we did.
I was slower on the draw. We didn't find out about it. We were doing This Week in Google, and it was already an hour into the hack, and people are saying Elon Musk is tweeting, Jeff Bezos is tweeting, Bill Gates is tweeting, Barack Obama is tweeting. And as soon as I saw Joe Biden's name on the list, I said, all right, this is an inside job, because there's no way, you could say maybe Elon didn't have the best OPSEC, but there's no way a candidate for president or even the most followed...
Former president.
Yeah, former president, who's the most followed guy on Twitter, doesn't have at least a security key.
And wouldn't you think, like, after Trump's account was deleted and after Jack's account was taken over, that they would take all the top accounts and give them elevated security, not just like one or two?
Well, I think they did do that with the president's account, because notice that the president wasn't in on
and
this
Jack's apparently
scam.
the second time. There was like a handful of accounts that had enhanced security or something.
But not Barack Obama's, Elon Musk's, Bill Gates, and Joe Biden?
Well, it's a very, very hands-on approach for those accounts. It's not, they haven't written, my understanding is that they haven't written infrastructure for that sort of thing yet. It really is a case of
it's done by hand.
Their people, exactly. So they can't, it's a solution, but it's not a scalable solution.
Well, Twitter is inherently not scalable. When Justin Bieber became very hot on Twitter, they gave him his own server. And you know what? I understand, because if you think about what Twitter does, it's insanely complex. Justin Bieber puts up a tweet, and then Twitter has to figure out who to show that tweet to, because it has to be his followers, right? And and that means it's not a simple database query. It's a very complicated.
It's an advanced analytical query.
Yeah. So I understand, but still.
I think it's a classic problem that affects pretty much all industries, where you build a tool as a group of 6 to 8 people, and you have an idea of what this tool is going to do, what it's going to be used for. You build it, and then you scale it based on those things, and then it gets insanely popular. And now the community is telling you what that thing is supposed to be used for, and you absolutely don't have either the what you built should have been built with that built in right in, but you didn't. And now you have to try to retroactively figure out how to make that support that, in addition to making sure that your whole organization's philosophy embraces this idea of, oh, we're not just a fun way to send little short messages to people via your text messaging system. We are now an international infrastructure for communications, emergency alerts, and news. This is why I think a lot of these, this is why a lot of these services have a problem differentiating. Okay, I know that you say that you want to be, you're based on free speech and you don't want to control what anybody says on your platform, and that's great. I mean, that's great. Love to hear it. But now that you are a platform of 2.8 billion users, letting anybody say everything without any restrictions or controls or retribution, not working for our planet. Maybe you should try it on another planet, but for us, speaking as a spokesperson for Earth, not working for us. We'd really like you to address that.
The best moment was when they turned off all the verified accounts, the blue checks.
Oh man!
And Wired says Twitter's at its best when verified accounts can't tweet.
Well, they were having parties, right? They're like, "Woohoo! The blue checks are gone.
The real people are
freedom."
Yeah. But I was shocked to see that all of these iMore and Crackberry, these former Mobile Nations accounts. I guess you have the same IT guy. And I guess they all did the same. He did the same thing to all those accounts.
For all of them, yeah.
And Twitter which was the right thing to do until you realized it couldn't possibly be just a password hack. This is worse.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Rich Siegel was retweeting that Todd Vaziri from, I hope I'm saying his last name right, from ILM did the same thing, and he hasn't been able to get back on.
So anybody who changed their password at the proximate time of this is presumed to have been hacked. And now, obviously, they're going to get through all of these accounts, but it must be 1 million.
Well, the thing that's super complicated is that, like we were discovering more all the time, but and just to get through the gist really quickly, this guy named Kirk approached a couple of people who do SIM swapping and said, hey, do you want to find these OG Twitter, like 1-character, 2-character names, and we can make some money and sell them? And they're like, cool. But then they got bored. And while they got bored, he started doing this Bitcoin thing. And then it turns out while this Bitcoin thing was happening, he also downloaded messages from 8 accounts that Twitter says were not verified accounts, but we don't know what accounts. So it's like layers within. Like, was he really, did he really waste the hack of a lifetime on a stupid Bitcoin scheme? Or was a Bitcoin scheme like, pay attention over here while I get this data that I really want? It's super complicated, and I think they're still sorting through it.
It's not as stupid a Bitcoin scheme as it seems on first glance. It would be, he got probably $100,000. It's hard to tell with Bitcoin wallets because you could put money in, they can't tell who's doing it. But I think it was Coinbase said they blocked $280,000 worth of attempted transfers. So it could have been lucrative, but it is an interesting exercise to think, you have the hack of the century. You have the keys to the Twitter kingdom. What would you like to do today?
Well, but that's where all the really cool speculation goes on. That it is possible that if the Metropolitan Museum of Art cleaned out all of its trash, and one early night at 2 a.m. I find a multi-million-dollar piece of artwork just in their trash, and I impulsively think, ooh, this is clearly a mistake, but I think I'll have it. Now I've got something that I could, a painting that's worth millions and millions of dollars, but I absolutely do not have the infrastructure on how to make millions of dollars off this painting. And so if I find some guy who will just simply give me $50,000 in cash for it, I might take it. And so this is what a lot of the thinking was over the weekend was either this. I think most of the stuff that was most interesting was at one of two either sides of the spectrum. That one, somebody happened into this really, really valuable hack, didn't have the ability to take the offer to the highest bidder on the black market, or this was a front operation to distract Twitter security while they were running the actual operation that is going to go undetected. And hopefully it seems as though it's the first one and not the second one. But
kind of depends if Twitter. If Kirk's real name is Vladimir, It might be the latter, It might have been.
Someone was saying, I forget who, it's too hard to steal the painting these days. It's just too easy to track that down. So you rewire the payment from the auction house instead, and you get the value of the painting without ever having to actually go there and steal it and auction it and all those things.
Yeah.
And who knows what information is in the DMs of those accounts that got downloaded.
Yeah.
Someone's asking
why does this keep me? I keep thinking of the movie Hackers. Like all of this is just like straight out of Hackers. Somebody who happens across some bit of information. They didn't realize how big of a deal it was. They play around with it and, oh no, it's much bigger than they thought.
I was thinking of a better movie, Sneakers.
Yeah, I was thinking of Sneakers too. So good. C-Tech Astronomy.